Well, I'm with Neil from the Trafalgar Holden Motor Museum, and I'm with the FJ Holden, two of them actually. One's sporting a light blue top with a dark blue, and this one to my mind looks fantastic. I love two-tone cars. This one's two-tone as well, a little bit more sort of, I guess, cosmopolitan, a grey colour with a dark grey roof. Are they both the same, or are we looking at two different models of the FJ?
No, they're basically both the same. This one's been done up. I'm not really sure about the originality of the colour on this one. I'm not saying it's not original, but I can't. My memory doesn't serve me that they had that, or I didn't see many of them anyway. The grey one, that is pretty much factory colour. So,
well, the seats are two-tone as well as the interior, and I'll grab some photos to put on the movie of the interior seats. But this does sport blue and a creamy coloured seat, whereas this one's got a grey and creamy coloured seat. They are standard. They come with two-tone seats.
They came standard with two-tone seats. That one is definitely original.
That's right.
They came with two-tone seats, and those seats in there are actually original. There's a little bit of a blemish or a bit of a separation in the stitching in that one, and I can't repair it because they reckon to repair it will damage it even further.
Well, more important to keep it original when you've got something like this. Now, with the FJ, well, we were just over having a look at the 48215, and that came pretty much as one model, but is this where they separated them and you had a business, the special and the business sedan?
As I recall, you had a business sedan, you also had a panel van, and you had a ute. And if you were wealthy enough, you could walk down and spend around £700, buy yourself a brand new Holden sedan, and then take it to a company called Cordell, who would then cut it at the back end and convert it to a station wagon. So that would cost you another £600, so you were starting to get up there with money.
So they were an old-fashioned coach builder, if you will, and they would chop the back of it.
They would chop the back of it
and create a FJ station wagon.
We had one here up until about a week ago, and it was sensational to look at.
So I could well imagine. Now, this has got the trusty grey motor, and as you were telling me when we were talking about the 48215, these stayed pretty much the same engine with only very minor modifications all the way up to the EJ, and that made them easy to work on. Everyone knew how to fix them, and there were parts aplenty because Holdens became so popular. But the FJ Holden, it took them 5 years to replace the 48215 with the FJ, and in that 5 years, what improvements did they make, apart from, obviously, a slightly better looking grille?
Yep, slightly better looking grille, the beefed up suspension that we spoke about, basically very little else. It was just about, very much the same sort of motor car.
I don't think you'd get away with a 5-year update consisting of a grille and a bit of a suspension upgrade these days.
No, probably not, but remember we were not developing very quickly with motor cars at that time, and it was just really just an upgrade, and you got another 3 years out of it. So.
And that was of course the FE model, which we'll get to. Now, apart from that, the interior, if we have a look inside, it's pretty much sporting the exact same interior that the 48215 has got, but I note that this one has got a radio on the dash. Is that stock?
No fear. No, it's or just about a radio and whatever. We're all aftermarket. Mm-hmm. And if you have a look at it, I think the EJ was the first Holden, the EJ Premier was the first Holden with a heater standard. So you didn't get a hell of a lot, but then we were after a car at the time that was a workhorse. And I think probably the simpler they were, the better they were. And certainly I think Holden proved that.
Well, this particular radio looks like it's been built for the car. Did Holden put a little insert in the dash to enable that to be installed, or did somebody get out the snipping tools and cut a piece in the dash?
As I recall, they cut their own hole for the radio, but I'm not absolutely sure about that.
Yeah, well, it looks like a 1953 radio to me, but is it valve or transistor, or you not game enough to pull it out to check that?
I'm not touching it, I can assure you.
Does it work?
It does, yes.
Wow. AM, of course.
AM,
but
of
but
course,
back then, that's
absolutely.
all we had.
We had nothing else.
Yeah, up until the 80s when we finally got FM. But and this has got the pearlescent steering wheel as well?
Yes. Yeah, again, it's not really the...
Not stock.
Not stock.
But this one does look to me like it is stock. It's sporting an enamel base.
Yes, that one is stock. Whether it's been touched up or not, I'm not sure, but that's how they came to you.
Now, sun visors were very popular. Both of yours have got them. Were these options?
They were options, absolutely, yes. And I think they were an aftermarket option. Holden used NASCO as their accessory arm, and I think it was probably around about this model that NASCO started to come into their own. So,
now, four-wheel drum brakes. We've got vacuum-operated wipers here. I've driven a car. I had an FC Holden that had vacuum wipers. They worked great when you were slowing down, but they were abysmal when you were speeding up.
I think you're very kind when you say they were working off vacuum, because I never found them to work very well at all. But you're right, when you were slowing down, they worked terrifically. Under load, and you virtually had to stick your head out the window to see where you were going.
And the old quarter vents, I used to love them, but that was the only way you really get ventilation in your car back then.
Full flow ventilation it was. It was absolutely perfect. You could regulate it to wherever and the volume that you wanted. And the basic design of the thing, without massive windscreens, they never got anywhere near as hot as the cars of today. So there was no need for air conditioning.
Well, there was a lot less glass area, as you can see. And I love these. We're still in the era of the split windscreen.
Yep. Remember, the split windscreen was there purely because they didn't fold glass. They couldn't bend glass. So every glass panel on the FJ and the 48215 is all flat.
Okay, and I'm looking at it here. It is absolutely completely flat. So that was was it just something that Holdens couldn't do, or the automotive industry in general couldn't bend glass?
I think it was the automotive industry in general. It wasn't until the model after this that we had the curved glass come into its own. And I think that was probably sort of fairly much worldwide.
Okay, and as we've been speaking, Neil, one thing that's caught my eye is this rear view mirror that's sitting perched it looks like it's attached to the door frame. And then I was looking at it as we were speaking and looking, well, that's a funny place to put it, but I can't see anywhere else really that you could put it except perhaps on the door. Is that where most FJ and 48215 rear view mirrors would be put? And I'm guessing, again, that is an aftermarket option?
It certainly is. In fact, I think right through until about, I can't remember which model it was, but certainly well into the Kingswoods before you had rear vision mirrors supplied standard. This is what they call a peep mirror, and it's what car restorers use to just to give us a bit more vision, because they just weren't available. You had your rear vision mirror and that was it.
Yeah, well, it would make it tough driving around in modern day traffic, but I interviewed some people about they had some 1923 Fiats, and they're getting around, and there's one bloke that drives to work once a week in that, and that was quite amazing to have a chat with him. But Neil, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to take some photos of these cars, and I'll add them to the video so you'll see the interior and the exterior, and I'll get into the engine bay there. Absolutely fantastic. Neil, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.